we established our first office in Quezon City. And from 2019, we signed an agreement with the DTI or the Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines. So at that time, we were recognized as the digital building service provider for the Philippines or for our country. Ayan. So ano po yung parang naging ano po niyan, resulta. So we partnered with the government to introduce the BIM or the digital take-off po. Okay? So what are the Cubicos employees? Who are we? So we are heavily invested with our employees. As you can see here, we have over 8,000 and then more than 10 years industry experience when it comes to cost software provider. So another thing is that for our global footprint, let me summarize this, that you can find us in Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Hong Kong. So that is for Asia Pacific. Okay? And then for China and then UAE and from Finland, Sweden and UK. So for Europe. So dito pa lang makikita natin, no, we are known globally when it comes to our quantity takeoff or quantity surveying software and then cost estimation. Now, we will be introducing to you the Cubicle software. We called it Cubicle software. Okay? The first software is the BIM takeoff for architecture structure. This is TAS. The second software or the platform is TRB. This is the BIM takeoff for rebar. Okay? Again po, no? Iba ka-imit ko lang po kayo para ano po tayo. Kindly check na lang po pagka naka-open po yung microphone po natin or hindi. Okay. So, the third one is the TBQ, no? This is the tender for bill of quantities, and then the TME, this is the BIM takeoff for the mechanical and electrical. So, naka-focus kami as a quantity surveying software, as you know. So, this is the BIM takeoff for uh, architecture and structure yung i-introduce namin later for our training. Okay? So, as we all know, ito yung method of measurement na ginagawa for our quantity takeoff or quantity surveyors, which is the manual. Ito yung traditional ginagawa natin. Okay, manual spreadsheet. And then dito po kami papasok na QS professional software. So, as we all know, ito po, no, sakit sa ulo, no, sa traditional when it comes to manual spreadsheet. And for the future, ano po, no, quantity surveyors, ito po yung kadalasan like slow, error-prone, manual report, and then difficult to visualize with 2D only, no? 2D drawings lang kasi. And then many files and multiple spreadsheet. Ito yung maraming papeles or something paperworks na talagang nakakagulo sa ano po na trabaho. So when it comes to the QS software, dito po yung magiging advantages natin if using the software. Like you can have a quick and accurate, competitive solution. Stress-free about the formatting, efficient process. So ito yung mga feedback from our clients here in the Philippines. So mapapadali na yung job natin. And the second thing is the important part is which is the accuracy. Ayan din yung kinukuha natin in doing our quantity takeoffs, the accuracy. Okay? So when it comes to our Cubicost projects, these are the example. So these are the part of Philippine projects used by our Cubicost. So left top is from Philinvest, bottom left is from SMCC, and then from middle is from Megaworld, and then bottom po is from Cebulan Masters. These are the examples po, no? These are the examples of who have used our Cubicost. And then, mostly po kasi is mid-rise and high-rise building projects po yung ginagamit natin dito. And then the other thing is for the steel structure project from DOTR, we partnered also with the EEI. Ayan, yung mga nakikita nyo po dun sa DOTR po, no? So, nagamit na din po nila for their quantity takeoffs. Now, So, isa-summarize ko na sa inyo for all the attendees, what are the advantages or the benefits of using the Cubicle software or the using the BIM takeoff for architecture and structure. Okay? So, the first one is the Philippine Standard Measurement. Okay, the Philippine Standard Measurement embedded in the software. So, what is this? What is this? Excuse. So, dun sa software, there is a calculation inside that can do the automatically the deduction and calculation. So like for example, from bar overlapping 33 percentage and then the seismic requirement, opening on overlapping. So dito pa lang, may help na natin yung mga quantity surveyors, yung mga cost estimators in doing their take-offs. So mapapadali na. So another thing is this is a very good advantage if you're doing the calculation from manual, no? From manual. So that second thing is that the second thing is the automatic measurements. So what is this? So our software can automatically can support any 2D drawings like PDF, JPEG, or DWG or CAD file. I-upload nyo lang po sa software and then you can have this plan, and then after you doing the modeling, you can have this 3D model na po. Ayan. Mapapadali na po yung job natin in doing this. So, ayan. So, ang advantage na ito is improve of efficiency more than 50%. Kasi pagkadalasan traditional ginagawa natin for take-ups, medyo ano po no, talaga matagal. Like kung malaking project like 30 story, like 15 days to 30 days, and doing this like mapapadali na lang mga 5 days, 3 to 5 days, no? The third key main advantage is the BIM model. So you can have a 3D model where you can get a quick and accurate quantity report. So, i-check ko lang po yung sa ano no, may baka naka-open po. Let me check. Pa-double check na lang po if may naka-open na mic para hindi po nagpi-feedback. Ayun. Thank you. So, let me just phrase it again. This is the third key main advantage, which is the 3D BIM model. Okay, where you can get a quick and accurate quantity report. Okay, so this is a very good feature where you can get like how the software doing the calculation, like you already have these quantities na already. Okay, so the second let me just share you that what are the Cubicost clients or who have used our softwares now, who have used our softwares. So we have over 1,800 plus users na po. We partnered with these top consultants like Arcades, BK Asia, RLB, and from developers, Philinvest, Primary Properties, Cebulan Master, and from main contractors, Philmark, CEI. So hindi ko na isa-isayin, no? Ayan po yung mga nakapartnered na po namin who have used in their quantity takeoffs po, no? And then doing the assignments din po for our trainings. So another thing for the Cubicost Philippines, we have also on-site and online trainings for our clients. We do on-site and then project guidance. Okay. And last, and then that, let me share you know, not only to market our solution, but we also have a society responsibility. So we are promoting the BIM or digital construction here like this. We have a free online seminars and we will have a future CPD events also. So when it comes to our society responsibility like this, so we invite officials for the China Digital Building Summit, and then we sign an agreement with the government to introduce the BIM or the digital construction, and we sign an agreement also with the UE and De La Salle. So from De La Salle part is uh, in the future we will be we will be included in their quantity surveying special project, special degree po. Okay. Another thing is the one recognized by the government as the digital construction platform provider. So what is this? So this is from 2019. So we signed an agreement with the government also, no, to introduce the BM here and then to promote the digital construction. So makikita niyo po si Mr. Consuin, nandito din po, DMCI, and then from DTI Vice Minister, and together also the Mr. President, President Duterte po. Ayan. So our ano po no, our objective din po here in the Philippines to promote the digital construction or the BIM. Ayan, to help the construction industry. So because we all know digital revolution for AC industry is coming. They have China Manufacture 2025, for Germany Industry 4.0, and then for the Philippines we have Philippines Construction Industry Roadmap 2020 to 2030. So si government po talaga no, ini-endorse po nila from like DPWH, DTI na yung to take use of the BIM or digital construction technology for their work. Okay? Now, kaya po nangyari po yan, ino-introduce namin like we have this CCPD events from 2019. There are around 200 participants here, and then the topic is the BIM cost management. And we have this BIM QS competition from 2019. So the winners are from our KDs first, and then the second is from CMDC, and then the third is from Cebulan Master. So ayan po, there are around 300 participants here. So from 2020 last year, ito ginawa online. Mas napadali po no, online. There are around 1,200 participants, and that seminar's topic about is the digital construction and then the BIM. So it lasted 3 months. Bakit po no? Marami po talagang attendees diyan. So i-share ko lang po no, we have prizes also for the winners. So top one si from EI no, si Mr. Jebel Lisena, and then from Arts and Tech, and then from SMCC. So may binigay din pong prizes sa kanila. And hopefully in the future no, we will have in future BIM QS competition from 2021. Hopefully makasama din po kayo. So ayun po for our general introduction about our company. And I'll be stopping my share screen, and pwede na po tayo mag-proceed for our training. And by the way, let me just check again no. Kamusta po dun sa may training materials and for the softwares? Have you already downloaded and logged in? Kindly thumbs up na lang po no. And then chat us if you have any issues before we start. Okay. Just checking one by one dun sa message po, no? Okay. Okay na po lahat. Just checking. Thumbs up na lang po, no? Pagka ano na pa tayo. So we will start for our training. So prepare na lang po for our training materials, and then for our okay. So for pagka may issues po kayo for the reset password, kindly check the spam of your email or spam email, and then for the junk file. Okay? Ayan. So marami na nagta-thumbs up, mukhang okay na sila lahat po. Okay. Okay. I think we can start now, Erwin. I'll be transferring the share screen to Erwin.
Hello sir, good morning po, and guys, good morning. First of all, I would like to thank you for attending our TAS software training or the digital takeoff for architecture and structure. And before I proceed, Sir Marian, can I ask to allow me to record po this training?
Sure, sure.
Ayan, salamat po. Now, the recording will be provided after the seminar. So, susubukan ko pong i-upload yung recording. Kaya lang baka hindi nyo na rin mapanood mamaya because the processing takes time. No? Minsan, alas 9 na po na tatapos yung processing and na-upload ko po no, sa aming online training platform. So, um, just a moment. Let me just share my screen. Alright. So, let's just wait for the recording lang po para ma-record natin. So again, siguro while we are waiting, I just want to brief you again, no? What is the TAS software or the Cubicost TASI? So yung TASI po, it stands for Takeoff for Architecture and Structure under the Cubicost platform. Now, yung structure part po, the name structure doesn't mean na meron po tayong rebar, no? Yung detailed rebar modeling. So yung software po namin for TAS is only for architectural works, the finishes. The structure means yung concrete and formworks. Although we can input rebar ratio if you want a projection of the rebar. So meron pa po kasi kaming separate na software called TRB or the takeoff for rebar. And the TRB is used for the TRB is utilizing the code, no? The ACI 318 code. So mas detailed po siya and we won't be tackling that because we are offering that for exclusively for the TAS certified users. So kapag pumasa po kayo dito, if you have a TRB exam, TRB training, which is 1 day, eligible po kayo umattend po ulit because you need to have a knowledge on TAS before proceeding to TRB po. Right? So just a moment. Okay, siguro po I'll just proceed with the introduction. So my name is Ern Velasquez and I'm the technical expert of Glodon Philippines. I'm conducting all four trainings po, no, yung TAS, TRB, TME, and TBQ. So we will be focusing on TAS. And actually, ang itatakil po natin ngayon is a relatively low-rise building. No? So you don't have to be stressed out sa kung ano yung mga gagawin natin. So I'll try or I will do my best to make this training a bit light, no, and enjoyable for you guys. And also kung hindi po nakasunod, okay, may mga times of course if we are starting, no, the BIM softwares, most probably po medyo maninibago pa kayo, no. There are a lot of buttons to click, there are a lot of procedures to do. So kung hindi po masundan, no, don't worry because again, I will give you the training recording. At the end of the training, we will be having a quiz, no? A quiz, no? It's a 20-item quiz. Okay? And yung quiz po na yon is kapag napasa niyo po yung quiz and also kapag nabigay niyo po yung assignment. So we will be giving you a very small assignment. O baka para lang po alam namin na naintindihan kasi sa company standards namin yung assignment para mabigyan po namin ng certification. Alright? So just complete those two, no? Pass the quiz, send the assignment, we will give you the certificate po. Alright? And lastly, kapag pinasa niyo po yung quiz, no, and napasa niyo po, nabigay niyo po yung assignment, you are a certified task user, again, you are eligible to join our next TRB training. All right?
Hello, Erwin.
Yes po.
I already changed the host to you.
Okay, salamat po.
Recording in progress.
Ayan, so I think we can continue. So let's start first. Let me just give you first a brief intro about the software itself. So maybe 10 minutes lang po. So before we do the modeling, okay, it's of course as our job as a quantity surveyor is to familiarize ourselves first with the training materials. So also, syempre kapag mag-take off tayo, we don't just dive into the plans, no? Kailangan aralin muna natin. So, of course, before you go to the TAS software, it is suggested to study first the plans, the availability of them, kung ano po yung mga informations na lacking, and kung ano po yung meron tayo. Okay? So, these are the items to take note. So, if you want to have a good model, at least po kailangan meron tayong framing plan and architectural plans, yung floor plan po natin. Right? So kailangan may ganun po tayo. Pangalawa, yung general notes is important as well. So kung may general notes po tayo, okay, may input po natin yung preliminary information of the structure to the software para alam ni software kung saan siya magsisimula. Okay? The material used is very important as well. Of course, we want to specify what kind of structure, no? The properties of the structure. Is it a steel structure, a concrete structure, etc. And lastly, if you have special requirements, okay? So baka meron kayong special requirements like siguro meron kayong mga elaborative architectural works, no? Meron kayong very detailed facade, or siguro meron kayong requirement in terms of quantification, meron kayong classifications na gustong gawin, you might need to consider that as well. Kasi baka kaya ni software i-provide para sa inyo pa. Okay? So just study the drawing, study what's inside, no? What you want to expect, no? Once you model the structure pa. So for our case study, ito po yung mga projects from all over the world. I think share na po ni Sir Marion yung pinakita, yung minodel dito sa Pilipinas. But this is from the around Southeast Asia region po. So malalaki na yung mga projects namin. So we will try to model somewhere this big po. Nandito sa gilid. Actually, mas maliit pa dyan. So don't worry about it. Now, the course target. So for the course target, I want you guys to master the general workflow of the Cubicost. So the Cubicost is just a procedural software. You don't have to memorize directly kung ano yung gagawin natin. Kasi as we go along, so kapag nakapag-model po tayo ng multiple structures, mamememorize nyo talaga siya, no? It's very easy. So step-by-step procedure lang po siya. Second, enable to utilize common functions to measure the quantity. Okay, so the measurement, it will be based on the software's capability na po. Hindi nyo na po kailangan mag-compute or maglagay ng formula, si software na po ang bahala. So ang gagawin lang natin, magmo-model lang tayo. The third one is to get to know the self-learning way of Cubicost. So Cubicost, we have this function called auto-identification. It is based on years of research, no? So we allot a budget, no? A big budget just for the self-learning way of the Cubicost. So kumbaga ito po yung market namin na meron kami and sa software lang po namin nahahanap yung this self-learning method. And lastly, being capable and confident to conduct a real project. So, of course, if you are capable and confident, or if you, okay, let me just check. Okay. Being capable and confident to conduct a real project. So, of course, if you know how the software calculates for the values, no, if you know how the software works, mas confident kayo kasi sa totoo lang po, si software ibibigay na sa inyo pati formula niya, no. Papakita natin paano po mahahanap yung formula, paano po yung ginawang calculation ni software after modeling the structure. Okay, so this is our course target for today and tomorrow. Now, for our training arrangement, so we have a 2 days training arrangement. Okay, so the first day, okay, specifically this morning, we will just try to familiarize ourselves on the main user interface. So we will just explore the user interface, ano po yung parts ng ating software, and we will do the drawing management as well. Okay, we will do the drawing management as well. Now, the second part of our first day is to model the structure. So very easy. We'll just model the structure, all the concrete works, columns, beams, slabs, and staircase. Now, on the second day or the third part of our training is we will model the architectural works. No? So, magfo-focus po ako sa morning sa walls, no? Masonry walls and finishes. And for the last part of our training, we will focus on the substructure works, foundation, blinding, and excavation. And I will also show you how the software can automatically generate the report, and we will have a quiz. Okay, so wag po tayong kabahan sa quiz, no? Medyo pamigay na po yung quiz. Okay? The score is 20, the items are 20, no? 20 points. You only need to pass, or only need to have a 12-point correct answer. Okay? And also, magkakaroon po tayo ng review. Okay, may review tayo sa last part. Usually, nagbibigay ako ng tip, no? Or nagbibigay ako ng signal na kasama to sa exam. Alright? So, makinig lang po tayo, no? Even though, kunwari, nag-fail man yung computer natin, kahit di tayo makasabay sa pagmamodel, kung makikinig lang po tayo, papasa po tayo sa quiz. Alright? Now, for other queries, concerns, no? I suggest you follow our Facebook or LinkedIn. And also, you can email me and my manager, no, si Sir Frank. And also, I think you can email us, Sir Marion, as well, yung ating business development manager, the one presented, no, or the one who presented our company profile. So, kung may katanungan po kayo, you can email us, no, us three po. All right. So that's it for our schedule, no. Now, let's proceed to the proper training. Okay? Proceed na po tayo sa proper training natin. The first part of my training is this. I just want to give you the general workflow of the software. So kung natatandaan po natin, no, in my previous slide, the first agenda is to master the general workflow of Cubicost. So ano po ba yung workflow na yun? Ano po ba yung sinasabi kong procedural na step-by-step modeling procedure? Okay? So ang procedure na po na yun ay ito, no? This is the general workflow of the software. And bibigyan ko na po kayo ng tip, no? Para may 1 point na kayo sa inyong exam. Try to familiarize the step-by-step procedure. The first procedure is you will edit the project settings. Okay? Mamaya po, pag-create natin ng project, mag-i-edit tayo ng project settings. Okay? So, ang ibig sabihin po nito is bibigyan po natin si software ng basic information. Okay? Regarding dun sa structure na i-model natin para ma-visualize na po. The second part is we will import the drawing. Okay? We will import the drawing and we will do the drawing management. So, basically, if we want to model, we want to trace something. So kailangan natin may iti-trace, no? So mag-import po tayo ng CAD file or PDF file po mamaya. The third part is we will input the project data. So yung project data po, this is the actual modeling procedure. So after we overlay the plans,
device is ready to pair.
okay, after mag-input po after mag-upload po tayo ng drawing, mag-input tayo ng project data, ibig sabihin magmo-model na po tayo or iti-trace na natin yung drawing. And lastly, we will generate the quantity report. So the very essence of TAS, no, as a quantity takeoff solution is, of course, to generate the quantities, no, in a neat, no, in a clean report, no. So yun po yung ating general workflow. Again, project settings, import drawing, input project data, and then generate the quantity report. Right? So that's it po, no? Now, proceed na po tayo dun sa training arrangement natin. So the first thing that we will do is we will create a project. So guys, kindly open your TAS software. Kindly open your TAS software. So I will open mine, no? And ganito po yung makikita natin. Okay? This is my TAS software. So before I proceed, siguro hintayin ko po muna kayo, no? Siguro thumbs up na lang yung signal natin if you want me to proceed with the training. Okay? Salamat po. So, just a reminder lang po, yung password will be changed. No, yung password change po, mahanap natin sa email address, sa spam folder po natin. Now, if you cannot change your password, kindly go here. Okay? Sa email na po na to, no? I mean sa website na po na to, and then you will type, no? You will type po your email address na pinang-register po. So ipakita ko lang po sa inyo, no? Pag hindi nyo po mapalitan yung password, just go to this website right here. Type your account, your email, no? Email address, let's say mine. No? Okay? And then afterwards, press continue and press submit. So ibibigyan kayo ni website no email address where you can change your password. Okay? So dito po kayo mag-change ng password. Kumbaga i-direct kayo sa Google or sa email niyo po. Right? So yun lang po, no? Let me close this and let me proceed to the training. Okay. Now, let's start. Let's start with the user interface. Once you open your task software, you will be landing on this start menu. So ganito po itsura ng start menu natin. You might have a different complexion, no? In terms of the color, baka po black yung background natin. It's perfectly fine. Don't panic. Parehas lang po yung magiging commands natin, no? Nag-iba lang yung template or yung design. Now, let's first discuss the parts of the start menu. So this is the start menu, and in the middle, okay, ito pong nasa gitna, you will see all the recent projects. Okay, lahat ko ng recent projects magpapakita dito, and a total of 8 projects can be found here. 8 recent projects natin. So for now po, wala pa kayong makikita sa part ninyo, but we will create one for you. So expect that after this second 2-day training, meron na kayong isang file, no, na pwedeng gamitin or pwedeng send for assignment. Now, if you can't find the file that you want, you can just go here sa open. Okay, meron po tayong open here. Just press open and locate the file. So very straightforward. Now, yung nasa left po natin, okay? So this one on the left, this one right here, no? This is the, kumbaga, yung pinaka-basic commands natin when we will start a new project, okay? Or basically the master file management or the document management po natin. So, of course, if you want to create a new file, you will just press new, okay? You can also save an existing file, save as a new file name, and then close the file. Okay, so dito po tayo magmamanage ng drawing. So bandang ilalim, it's the software's settings. So settings naman po ni software sa bandang ilalim. Somewhere here, no? Somewhere here. So if you want to change the language, you can change the language here. If you want to change the unit of measurement, pero hindi pa po natin mababago ngayon, later mababago po natin. If you want to change the software's default settings, you can edit it in options. And lastly, sa about, no? Sa about, this is where you can find your software version. Okay? Dito po natin mahanap yung software version sa about. And my software version is a bit advanced than yours. It's 5.10.10300. Maybe parehas, no? I'm not sure. Maybe parehas. Or maybe yung sa inyo po is 5.10.10,000. Okay? Doesn't matter, no? Kahit mas older version sa inyo because parehas lang po yung mga commands na gagamitin natin. Right? So, yun po yung mahanap natin on the left part of our screen. Now, proceeding sa right part ng screen, we have this one. Okay? This one right here, no? And actually, this is the extension of the software to the internet. Okay? Internet. So, ano po ibig sabihin niya, no? So, lahat po ng pindutin nyo dito, ide-direct na kayo sa mga Glodon websites. Okay? I won't be going there because that's not our interest, no? Pero just to give you an idea, all our clients, lahat po ng clients or lahat ng account namin, kapag po naka-purchase namin ng software, automatic may cloud storage po sila worth 20 gig. Okay? So, also, the good thing about our software is yung model po, pwede nyong ipakita, no, or pwede nyong mahanap sa internet without having or without accessing the software. So that is our new feature, itong Cubicost Cloud. Okay? This is our cloud-based solution po. Kasama po yan sa mga license namin. Okay, here sa highlights, dito nyo po makikita yung mga new improvements of the software at this current version. Sa help, this is the task help center. Kung meron po kayong katanungan, you can go here sa help. The e-learning, yung e-learning naman po natin, if you want to learn about the task software on your own, meron po kaming videos sa online training platform namin where you can watch, no? But of course, I suggest you can just attend and finish the training here because hindi po gano'ng complete, no? Medyo kumbaga very basic po kasi yung nandun sa e-learning namin. So I highly suggest you just complete the training now para po makita natin yung value, no? At least 70% of the value of our software. And lastly, meron po tayo hot news, no? So for the hot news, so ito lang po yung mga tips on how to model. Okay, yan lang yung mga tips natin on how to model. Alright, so that is the part, no? That is the part of the start menu. You don't have to memorize everything. So, kumbaga binrief ko lang po kayo dun sa natin, sa pinaka main page natin. So, what I want you guys to do is to create a new project. Okay, magke-create na po tayo ng panibagong project, no? And this project file, we will be using it for the next 2 days. Okay? I mean, up to tomorrow, I mean. Okay? So, the first step, no, if I want to create a project is this, no. you will go to new, this one, press this, and after you press this, may tatanong po si software sa atin. Okay, may tatanong si software sa atin. There are 4 basic informations the software will ask us. No? The first one is the project name. What is the name of the project? So very obvious. The second one is the standard method of measurement, which we will be discussing later on. The third is the unit of measurement. And the fourth is the ground elevation. Okay, so explain po natin isa-isa, no? What are these 4 informations right here? So the first one, okay? So siguro po explain ko muna, and then every time I give, no, or I instruct you to do something, bibigyan ko po kayo ng oras later on. So you can just listen now, and then bigyan ko po kayo ng oras afterwards. So the first one is the project name. So kayo na po bahala kung paano niyo i-name yung project nyo. But for me, I will name it as this one, no? So TAS training. And for the date for today.
Ano yung gan? Bili ko dito sir. Nasa buto, nasa extra. Pero, ano?
Saan nakadayamon niya, sir?
Can you, ayun. Sa mga bagong pasok po, I highly suggest po, please mute your mic po para hindi tayo ma-interrupt. Okay, salamat po. So the first one is the name of your project. This is the task training. Okay, task training. Now, the second item is the standard method of measurement. So ano po itong standard method of measurements, no? So, na-brief na po kayo ni Sir Marion regarding this. Okay? Dun sa standard method of measurements. This is a compiled calculation rule, no? From multiple sources actually. And kumbaga naging standard na po ito dito sa Pilipinas, especially from consultant sides. I think it was formed by Arcadis if I'm not mistaken, no? Pero ang nangyari lang po is we team up, nag-research po kami kung ano yung mga sa mga local contractors here, kung ano po yung method of measurements na ginagamit nila. Okay? For example, paano siya nagko-compute ng volume ng concrete, area of formworks, ano yung mga prioritization ng structures, no? Nakakompile na po ito sa PHSMM. Okay, so papakita ko po sa inyo mamaya itong PHSMM, yung mga listahan po. But we don't have an option, so PHSMM lang po yung gagamitin natin. The third one is the unit of measurement. So unit of measurement, it's either metric or imperial. So basically, ano po yung gusto nyo, no? In meters or in feet. So of course, in meters tayo. So we will use metric. And lastly, the ground elevation. So ground elevation represents the natural grade line of your project. Okay? Or yung NGL ng project natin. Remember that, no? This will affect the excavation. Mamaya po, pag nag-excavate tayo, okay? Magkakaroon po ng effect yung ground elevation. So, paano po magkakaroon ng effect, no? For example, may pundasyon ako dito. Okay? Yung pundasyon ko is, let's say this is, siguro maglagay na lang tayo ng NGL. For example, NGL ko is 0. Okay? Elevation 0. Yung face ng pundasyon ko is elevation -3. So of course, yung hukay na gagawin ni software is this, no? From your NGL sa soil elevation nyo, sa pinakalupa nyo hanggang sa face ng footing, yun po yung huhukay ni software. So basically, the ground elevation will affect the excavation works or the general earthworks of the software. Okay, so remember that po, no? And also, I just want to give you a tip kasama po sa quiz, no? Tatanong sa inyo ni quiz kung ano yung ground elevation. Okay? Ano yung effect niya sa excavation. Right? So remember that. Now, by default, for now po muna, gagawin natin 0 yung ground elevation. Okay? So ulitin ko lang po, no? Ulitin lang natin. New. Edit the name, no? Project name. Task C. training, and then the date for today. Okay, the Philippine standard of method of measurements, we don't have any choice. Metric as our unit of measurement, and ground elevation is 0 po muna natin. Okay, and then afterwards you will press OK. Alright, so press lang natin yung OK and the software will initialize, bringing us to the main user interface or the modeling interface po. Okay, so yun lang po muna yung gagawin natin. I'll just give you time to do that. And if you're done, kindly give me a sign, no? Thumbs up, or just chat down sa ating chat box para po makapag-proceed na tayo. Alright, salamat po. Let me just check our chat box kung meron po tayong mga questions. Academic license po ba yung software na gagamitin natin ngayon? Yes po, this is an academic license. You can only access this license in a span of 3 weeks ata, 3 weeks to 1 month if I'm not mistaken. So parang ang gagawin lang namin is we will give you the grant, no? Para po dun sa assignment na kailangan nyo ipasa. Okay? Apart from PHSMM, what are other standard measurement does TAS have? Actually, marami po kami standard method of measurement, no? Marami po kaming standard method of measurement, no? Actually, iba-iba po kada bansa, no? For example, nasa Singapore kayo, nasa Malaysia, nasa Vietnam, nasa Australia, nasa Middle East, nasa US, iba-iba po yan. So here in the Philippines, we have two. Okay? We have the PHSMM, which is the one that we will be using now. It's based on the, if I'm not mistaken, yung book na pinpublish ni Arcadis, no? Na standard method of measurements that is widely used by the consultants. And also, actually, our partnership as well, yung ni-research namin dito on how the consultants do the quantity takeoffs. That's number one. And number two is the NRM2. Yun yung tawag namin. No? I think it is based on the British standard. Hindi po available dito sa ating trial license. Okay, so PHSMM lang po tayo. Okay, so I think we can proceed. We can proceed na po, no? Kailangan po namin ng registration para po makasali sa training. Okay, so sa mga hindi po naka-register, maybe we can just wait na lang for the next training event po. So probably in 2 to 3 weeks, meron pa po kaming panibagong task training. Okay, so let's proceed to the software. So proceed na po tayo sa pag-discuss sa software. Now, I will be discussing the parts of the software in around 20 minutes, no? So medyo mahaba-haba po yung discussion. Okay, I hate terms actually, no? Ayoko mag-discuss ng terms and definitions, but it's important na pangalanan natin yung mga parts ng software natin para alam niyo po kung saan pupunta once I said that specific name. Okay? Alam niyo po yung parts. Now, again, ayoko pong i-memorize nyo yung parts, no. Ayoko pong kayo na mag-take down ng notes parang students, no. I want this training to be a bit lenient, okay? Relax. So just familiarize the parts, no, with me. I-discuss ko lang po in a very brief preview. So start first with this one. Dito po tayo sa ilalim. Okay? Dito po tayo sa ilalim. Sa ilalim po, this one, this is what we call the modules. No? This is what we call the modules of the software. Ano po yung modules? Okay, kulang ng L. Ano po yung modules? So modules represents the process, no, or workflow of the QS, no, in terms of doing the bid or building the bill of quantities. Okay, the overall tendering procedure. So we have 3 steps actually that is reflected here. The first one is the modeling. So of course, if you want to have the quantities, you need to model the structure first. Okay, the software will provide you the quantities afterwards. Yung pangalawa po is the BQ, no? So of course, after you create and uh, have the quantities, no, after modeling, you will put it into the bill of quantities, no, bill of quantity format. Now, for our BQ module, hindi po ito kasama sa training. Okay, it's another topic, it's another software. Ang tawag po namin sa software nun is TBQ or Tender Series for Bill of Quantities. So I will skip this for today and tomorrow's training. I will skip this and we will proceed to the third module, the report. So for the report, the software will give you an analysis, no, or a summary of all the quantities tabulated and in printable version. Automatic po ito. And ipapakita ko po ito on our last day around 3 p.m. po. Okay, papakita natin yung report. Now, if you switch from different modules, nag-iiba po itsura ng software. So this is the modeling module. Sa BQ, nag-iiba po yan. Sa report, nag-iiba rin po yan. Okay? But for our training, we will focus our time, no? 95% of our time in the modeling module. So dito po tayo magfo-focus. Now, the next part of our software in the module or in the modeling module is the function manager. Okay? Function manager. So ano po yung function manager? So the function manager is this one, the one above. So the function manager functions just like the ones in our Microsoft softwares. No? So kung nag-Excel kayo, nag-Microsoft Word kayo, or maybe nag-CAD kayo, no? Nag-AutoCAD kayo, you know that the functions above represents a set of ribbons below. No? Kumbaga nakaka-classify yung bawat commands based on the functions or based on the title of the functions. Okay, so this is what we call the function manager. Okay, so kapag nagsabi po ako mamaya or sa tomorrow, go to the draw function. So you will press the draw function here. Okay, so kindly take note of the term function. Okay. Now, slightly below the function manager, we have the set of ribbons. May mga ribbons po tayo dito, no? So, yung mga ribbons po, ito po yung nagko-contain ng mga commands natin that is related to the function. Okay? For example, if I go to identify, obviously, everything that is related, every command that is related with identification is below, no? Below the ribbons. Okay, so kapag pumunta ka identify, pwede ako mag-identify ng drawing, pwede ako mag-identify ng PDF, pwede ako mag-identify ng text, etc. So basically, if you want to draw something naman, pupunta tayo sa draw and the software will provide you all the necessary drawing procedures, drawing commands, and editing commands po. Okay, so function sa taas, the ribbons and the commands sa ilalim. Very easy. Now, before I proceed sa baba, no, I just want to discuss lahat ng functions isa-isa. Okay? Discuss po natin isa-isa, no? Okay, so the first one is this one. If I press the start function, you will just go back to the start menu. Pabalik lang po tayo sa start menu. Easy as that, no? If you want to save it or to close the projects, you may go here sa start menu. The next function that we have is the project settings. Okay? So for the project settings, we have commands, no, or windows wherein dito po nating i-input. Okay, input po natin yung basic information ng structure, the preliminaries of the structure. Okay, so dito po tayo magsisimula mamaya sa project settings. So dito po natin input anong klaseng konkreto yung gagamitin, gaano kataas yung structure, ano yung kung sino yung owner ng structure, sino yung designer ng structure, etc. The next one is the BIM model. Okay? So papakitaan ko na po kayo ng the magical tip, no? Kapag nag-asterisk ako, this might show on the quiz, no? So the BIM model, okay, is where we can import and export BIM files. Okay, dito po tayo mag-import, export ng BIM files. Now, the software can support multiple BIM files, no? From other softwares, but hindi po kasi kasama sa training natin ngayon. Pero if you want to import, let's say for example IFC, no? The file extension is IFC, you can import it here sa BIM model. Okay? So for example, gusto mo naman mag-import din ng Cubicost files, no? Gusto mong i-extract yung isang floor ng isang task file papunta dito sa task file mo ngayon. You can also do that, no? By importing a model here. Okay? So remember, BIM model function is for importation of BIM files. Now, the next one is the identify. So identify is where we can identify the drawings. If you want to upload the drawing, if you want to use our software's auto-identification feature, pupunta po tayo sa identify. So I will explain that terms later on, no? Kasi dadaanan po natin siya as we go along to our training. The next function is the draw function. Okay? The draw function is used to model or to edit the structure we have right now. So in terms of manual modeling, gusto niyo mag-model manual, pupunta lang tayo sa draw function palagi. Okay? Take note, no? Take note. If I switch from identify to draw, you will notice something. The first three ribbons right here, select, draw, and modify, is the same as the ones in draw. So kahit mag-switch po ako, parehas lang, nandyan lang yung first three ribbons. Why? Because ito po yung mga commands na gamit. Okay? Gamit na gamit po itong mga commands na to, kaya finraise po namin siya on identify and draw. So kahit saan po kayo pumunta, nandito po yung first three ribbons. The next is the view, no? So view, basically if you want to view the structure in different way. So kung gusto niyo pakita yung 3D, yung 2D, yung ibang floors, you can go to view function. Now, I don't usually go here sa view function. Bakit po? Kasi meron tayong shortcut sa viewing procedures, no? So this view function right here, may shortcut po somewhere here sa gilid, no? This one right here. As you notice, no? Dynamic view. Ito na po yung nasa gilid. 2D, 3D view. Nasa gilid. Okay? Pan. Nasa gilid. So most of the commands that you need are already here on the sides. You don't have to go to the view function. So kung meron lang pong specific viewing perspective ang gusto niyo makita na wala dito sa shortcut sa gilid, you can go sa view function. All right? So the next function that we have is the quantity. Okay? So after you model the structure later on, you will quantify for the values. Easy as that. Okay? So pipindutin lang natin mamaya yung calculate, no? Yung calculate, pipindutin lang natin mamaya and po-provide na ni software yung mga quantities with formulas po. I will show you the measurement settings and the measurement rules on the second day. Okay, so this two right here, this represents the PHSMM. This represents the list of calculation rules the software has. Marami po ito, no? There are thousands of calculation rules here. We will try to check, no, we will try to understand how we can read, how we can modify these calculations sa second day po. Now, meron po tayong last function. This is a new function called revision. So for the revision, if you have variation orders, you have change orders, you have revisions in plans, you may do it here. So kung kumbaga may pagbabago kayo sa plano, you can overlay the previous plan and the new plan. Si software po yung maghahanap ng mga changes sa plano. Okay? Iha-highlight po yan ni software automatic. So this is a new function. No? This is a new feature of our software. We won't be discussing this because hindi po ito part sa basic training. But if you have time on the second day, baka po pwede kong isingit. Okay? Because we will be finishing the training tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. So I can still extend, no, from 3 to 4 kung gusto niyo pa pong mas matuto. Right? So that is the functions. These are the functions. Again, start menu, project settings, basic information of the structure, BIM model if you want to import or export a BIM file, identify is used for identification purposes, draw is for drawing purposes, view is for obviously viewing purposes, quantity is if you want to calculate and view the quantities after modeling, revision if you have changes in plans. Okay? So yun po yung part ng function natin and the ribbons. Now, let's proceed sa bandang ilalim. So I just want to brief you this one as well. Very important. Nakikita niyo po itong toolbar na ito sa gilid. This one right here. Sorry for the crooked line, no? Pero this toolbar right here, this is very important every time we model a structure. Kailangan po titingin kayo palagi dito sa toolbar na to, no? Because this toolbar, okay, will tell you anong floor po kayo nagmo-model. Okay? Baka naman po nagmo-model kayo ng pundasyon sa ground floor, no? Dapat sa foundation floor. So you need to switch every time you model a certain element. Okay? Kunwari magmo-model kayo ng bubong, nasa ground floor kayo. Kailangan i-switch nyo muna siya sa roof level mamaya. Okay? Remember that. Now, next, no? So let's discuss the windows on the sides, no? This is important as well. So for the windows on the sides, we call this one, my left part of my screen, this is what we call the element navigation bar. Specifically the first one. This is what we call the navigation bar. So ano po tong navigation bar, no? Lahat po na nakikita nyong element dito, okay? Lahat po na nakikita nyong parts ng structure dito, columns, walls, doors, beams, slabs, lahat po yan kaya i-model ni software. Okay? Lahat na nandito at yung mga nandito lang po ang kayang i-model ni software. So there are a lot of elements here, no? So when I say element, sinasabi ko po is components of the structure. So lahat po ng components of the structure registered here, you can model it in the software. So kung wala po, so that is the limitation of the software. We can do some workarounds if ever. Okay, so the first part is the element navigation bar. Ito po. Now, the second window is this, the element list. Okay, the element list. So ano po tong element list, no? So element list is the first layer of your navigation bar. What do I mean by that? If you select a certain element in your navigation bar, let's say column, okay? Sa next layer po, this layer right here, ibibigay ni software lahat ng tags ng column. Okay? Or lahat ng tags na ginawa niyo po. Let's say, nandito yung C1, C2, C3, etc. So all the column tags or column names are listed in the element list. can even create our own column name later on by pressing this button. The last layer, okay? The last layer is this one, the attribute editor. Ano po yung attribute editor? The attribute editor is where we can edit the properties of a specific tag. Okay? So for example, sinelect ko na po yung column dito. Tapos po, nag-select ako ng isang column tag or column name. Sa ilalim po, lalabas yung attributes. Kunwari, yung section. Okay? Lalabas dito yung elevation. Lalabas dito yung material. Okay? Material. So lahat po ng properties ng mga tags dito lalabas sa ilalim. Okay? Giving us the idea of this, no? Every time we model later on, may procedure, may step-by-step procedure. Actually, it's a clockwise procedure. Clockwise procedure po yan. Pipili tayo ng element, create tayo or pipili tayo ng element name or tag, i-edit natin yung attributes. Okay? Clockwise procedure. So, don't worry kung hindi nyo pa po ganong maintindihan to, this morning, no? Kasi gagawin natin siya mamayang afternoon. Okay? Next. On my right side, this is where we can manage the drawings. The drawing manager. So dito po natin i-upload na may mga drawings at aayusin natin sila. Okay? Drawing manager. Lastly, tingin tayo sa ilalim. This one, somewhere here in the bottom. We have this parang drawing tools, no? Drawing tools dito sa ilalim. So kung familiar po kayo sa CAD, no? Sa CAD softwares, kunwari orthogonal kayo or mag-snapping kayo, you may do it here as well para po mas madali yung guiding. Okay? And before I forgot, baka po napapansin nyo lang, no? Baka napapansin nyo lang po, meron pong window na maliit dito sa ilalim. So the one in black, no? Nakasulat sa akin actually is specify first corner point or select element entities. So ito pong window na to or ito pong toolbar na to sa ilalim, this is the a guide from the software. Okay? So gina-guide po tayo ni software every time we do something. Okay? For example, pipindot ako ng command, no? Random command. If I press extend, you will notice may direction na si or even kung hindi nyo talaga mag-gets, no? Okay, kung hindi nyo po talaga mag-gets, for example, you can just search the command here. Type nyo lang yung command dito. For example, tatype ko extend. Okay, ayun, no? Meron na tayo mga extend guide. So, i-type nyo lang po dito sa taas, i-direct na kayo ni software or tuturuan na po kayo ni software. So, in terms of learning the software, no, hindi po tayo limited sa training. Napakaraming po naming learning materials and may mga guides rin po sa inside the software for you to understand po. Alright, so that's it for our basic user interface. I just discussed you the parts of the software. Though a lot, masyadong marami po yung diniscuss ko, and kung hindi nyo po na-pick up clearly, we will still discuss it later on. Madadaanan po natin ito mamaya. And all you have to do is familiarize where to find things, no? Saan ko hanapin yung mga functions? Sa taas. Saan ko hanapin yung mga elements na pwedeng i-model? Sa gilid. Saan ko pwedeng hanapin yung mga drawings ko? Dito sa gilid. So basically, that's it. Yun lang po yung gusto kong ipaalam sa inyo. Alright? So that's it po. Before I proceed to the next topic, okay? The next topic, editing the project settings. May I ask po kung meron tayong questions or clarifications before I proceed. Kindly chat in our chat box. And kung wala na po, just type or just press yung thumbs up button and we will proceed na po. Alright? Salamat po. Okay, I think everything's complete, no? Or everything's clear. Kung meron po kayong questions later on, feel free to park your questions on the chat box, no? Not all of the time po, hindi ko kasi makita yung chat box. I'm sorry. So every time I pause or I give you a certain practice, titingnan ko po yung chat box mamaya. Okay, so don't worry about that. Now, we can proceed. We can proceed with overall workflow of the software. Okay, so dito na po tayo sa project settings, no? Project settings na po tayo. Kung natatandaan niyo po kanina, no? General workflow. What is the first step after creating a project? Edit the project settings. Okay, edit the project settings. So, yung pag-edit po ng project settings, what we want to do here is to give the software the basic informations of the structure. Ano po yung properties ng structure para kahit pa paano ma-visualize yung software kung ano yung imo-model natin. Okay? Edit the project settings. Let me just check the chat box first. So regarding sa commands, may shortcuts available for that po ba? Meron po tayong shortcuts. If you point your mouse near the command, magpapakita po yung shortcuts, no? Okay? I-hover nyo lang po. For example, ayun, align is AL. Something like that, no? Just hover your mouse near the shortcut. Or for example, gusto niyo na makita yung shortcut in turning on and turning off the layer. If you go to Start and Options, meron po tayong shortcut keys. This is how you turn on and turn off layers. So basically, yung naka-reserve po sa keyboard natin yung mga letters as turning on and turning off of layers po. So check natin yung mga iba. Later po, isi-send namin yung recording. Okay? Later, isi-send po natin yung recording. Yung software po, I'm sorry, hindi po siya nag-work sa Mac. No? Only in Windows computers po. My drawing manager is not shown in the right side. If you cannot find your drawing manager, go to Identify and press the drawing manager. Okay, just press the drawing manager po para magpakita. If the layer manager don't show all as well, just press the layer manager. So kunyari ganyan po siya, press drawing, press layer. Magpapakita po siya. Alright, so that's it po, no? That's it. Let's proceed now to the first step. Edit the project settings. Edit the basic informations of the software. Again, the first step is to go to project settings function. Dito po yan. So project settings. Left click. And we will edit two windows, no? Two commands here, no? Two windows here. The first one is the project information and the second one is the floor settings. So sabay-sabay po tayo, no? Project information and floor settings. Mauna po muna ako and then I will give you time later on. So let's start with the project information first. Left click. So if I press the project information, remember that in this window, hindi po ganong mahalaga ito, no? What I'm saying is, all the values here, or most of the values here, won't necessarily affect the quantities in our model. Okay? Isa lang po yung magkakaroon ng effect dyan, no? If you notice, if you remember, the ground elevation. So yung ground elevation po, this affects the excavation works. Excavation works po. Okay? Pero yung mga iba po, walang effect yan. Okay? For example, project code. Ito type nyo lang po kung ano yung project code sa company ninyo. Let's say this is P1. Project type. For example, this is residential project. Structure type. This is a frame structure. Foundation type. Okay, you're just defining the properties of the structure. It doesn't mean na nakasulat dito is a frame structure. Yung magre-reflect sa model nyo is already frame structure. You're just documenting, okay, the properties of your model. So for example, foundation, it's pile foundation. The building feature or the shape of the building, for example, is rectangular shape. Okay? So again, remember, everything in black, lahat po ng black, hindi po makaka-affect sa values yan. The only thing, the only cell that will affect the values is the ground elevation. Okay? So dino-document lang natin yung basic informations of the structure. For example, owner. For example, ako gusto ko magkaroon ng bahay kasi, so I will type my name here. Dati gusto ko maging architect, so siguro kahit dito man lang, architect na rin ako, no? Okay, and kung makaluwag-luwag tayo sa buhay, gusto rin magkaroon ng maging contractor, so EV, construction. Okay, so it's up to you on how you input the values here. So for the ground elevation, I'll just leave it to 0 for now. Mamaya po natin i-edit yan once we do the excavation works. All right? So I will give you guys time to edit the project informations if you want. Kung gusto nyo po, lagyan ng values. Kung ayaw nyo po, it's okay. If you have questions, you may chat me in the chat box. And if you're done, you can just thumbs up before we proceed to the next part, the floor settings, which is, this one is more important. Mas importante po isa, floor settings. All right, so yun lang po. I'll just wait for you guys. Maraming salamat po. Pwede po ba mag-import ng model galing AutoCAD? Hindi po, ang pag-import po natin ng AutoCAD file is for the drawing management, for tracing purposes po. If you have a 3D model sa CAD, the software cannot interpret that. So 2D lang po ang kayang interpret the software. If nag-import ng model from Revit, will it change automatically the unit? Okay. Kapag nag-import kayo sa Revit, yes, gagawin niyang MM and mababasa ni software and matatrack ni software yung overlappings, yung clashes from the Revit software po. But again, I'm sorry, the Revit function, according to my manager po kasi kinonfirm ko, we won't have time in discussing the Revit function of the software po. Okay, so focus lang po tayo sa TS modeling here. Review ko lang po ulit, no? Ground elevation affects excavation. So may 2 points na po kayo, no? Kasi yung first point natin, yung modeling workflow. Second point natin sa quiz is yung ground elevation. Okay? So sana pumasa po lahat, no? I think, well, medyo madalang bumagsak sa quiz on the second day po. All right. So if you already edit the project information, again, this is not a requirement. Hindi po ito requirement. It won't affect the values. You can proceed directly to the floor settings. This one right here. Floor settings. So ano po itong floor settings? This is where you will define two things. Dalawang bagay po ang di-define natin dito. The height of the structure and the concrete parameters. Okay? So kung natatandaan niyo po, TES, take off for architecture and structure. The structure part is the concreting works, no? it doesn't have any rebar because we have a separate software for that. So we just want to model kumbaga, the geometric shape of the structure, no? The concrete structures po. So in the floor settings, I will discuss to you what I call the 3 layers of these settings. Tatlo po yung layers dito and each layer is related to the previous one po. Okay? So we have 3 layers. First layer is the zone. Okay? The second layer is the floor information and the third layer is the grade information. Okay? So paano po sila related to each other? So ganito na lang po yan, no? Let me start with the last layer, grade settings. Okay? In each floor, let's say foundation, there is a certain concrete parameters. Okay? Ground floor. Meron siyang concrete parameters sa ilalim. Now, in each zone, okay, in each zone dito, meron siyang set of floors. So napapansin niyo po yung pattern? Ang pinakamalaking unit is the zone kasi sa isang zone meron mga floor heights, number of floors. Sa isang floors or sa isang floor I mean, meron pong set of concrete parameters. So that's why I discuss it per layer. Okay? So kumbaga dependent po yung lower layer dun sa upper layer niya. Now, let's start with the first layer. Define natin ano po yung first layer. This one right here. Zone. Zone is are used, no? Zones are used to separate parts of the structure. Okay? So kunwari meron tayong structure, no? Let's say for example, meron tayong condominium. Okay? Condominium. Condominium natin, meron tayong supermarket sa ilalim. May podium area po tayo sa ilalim. Now, ano po yung purpose ng zone? No? Kung masyadong malaking structure natin. What we want to do is we want to separate them. Hiwalay natin. No? Gusto kong hiwalay supermarket. Gusto kong hiwalay yung Tower 1. Gusto kong ihiwalay yung Tower 2. So that's the purpose of zoning. We want to separate different parts of the structure, lalo na po pag malaki. Okay? And bakit po natin gustong i-separate? Maybe because number 1, they have different concrete parameters. Number 2, they have different floor heights. Okay? Because the zones, in one zone, you can only have a certain number of floors and heights and a certain grade settings. So kung iba-iba po yan ng parameters, let's say sa supermarket, iba yung concrete na ginamit. Or sa tower, iba yung floor height na ginamit. You might need to separate them per zone. Okay? So zoning is not a requirement. Okay? It's not a requirement, but it's better used for us to have a more organized model. So i-separate natin kung masyadong malaki yung structure natin. Now, for our model, hindi po ganun kalaki. No? Actually, 2-story lang po yung gagawin natin. No? 2-story plus roof deck. So hindi na po natin kailangan i-separate per zone. Okay? So we will only use one zone. Isang zone lang po tayo. But if you want to have multiple zones, very easy. Just press add to add a new zone. Okay? And you can also press delete to delete an existing zone. Okay? Add, delete. Lastly, you can rename the zone. Okay? You can just double click and rename the zone. Let's say this is a residential zone. Okay? So something like that. Very easy. Now, before I give you time to do what I did, isama ko na rin po yung floor settings, no? Or yung floor information, the second layer. Okay? Bago ko po kayo bigyan ng oras para i-edit yung ating floor settings. So, what is this floor informations right here, the second layer? So the second layer is basically the composition of floors inside your zone. Okay? So let's first discuss how we can insert and delete floors. So basic lang po. Just press insert if you want to have multiple floors and delete if you want to delete an existing floor. Okay? Insert, delete. Okay? Now, kung gusto niyo po mag-insert in between floors, just select the floor below, no? Tapos press insert. Mag-insert po siya sa gitna, no? Ng upper and lower floor. Again, press delete to delete floors. Okay, insert. Now I will just insert one floor here. I'll just insert one floor here. Kasi po ang structure natin is ground floor, second floor, and then roof deck. So mag-insert po tayo ng isang floor mamaya. Now let's discuss each and every columns we have. Okay, lahat po ng columns i-discuss natin, no? The first column is the reference floor. Ano po itong reference floor na ito? The reference floor is just is where we can assign your base floor or your footprint floor, no? Kung ano po yung floor na nagla-land or naka-align sa lupa, no? So, obviously, your reference floor will always be the ground floor. And anything below ground floor will be substructure or naka-ilalim sa lupa. Anything above your ground floor will be superstructure or suspended, no? Suspended. So this can be second floor or third floor, etc. So in assigning the reference floor, kunyari gusto nyo yung base floor nyo is this one, first floor. Ang mangyayari po, yung ground floor, magiging basement yan. Because your reference floor right now is this level right here. Okay? So make sure that you specify the correct reference floor. So for our training, we will use ground floor as our reference floor. Now, the next part, no? The next column is the code. The code. Ano po yung code? So code is just the, kumbaga parang palatandaan ng software, no? Palatandaan ng software, anong level yung mga floors ninyo. Kasi in the floor name, you can name it as wild as you want. Actually, gusto ko pangalanan yung floor na to. Erwin, Gabriel, Velasquez. No, hindi ko alam kung anong floor to. So we use the codes as our sign, no? Palatandaan po ito kung anong level na tayo. Okay? So you cannot edit the code. You cannot edit the code. Automatic na po si software yung mag-assign ng numbering. Of course, if you insert a floor below foundation or above foundation, magiging negative po yan. Saying that this is a basement level. So anything that is negative, basement level po yan. Now, the third one is the floor name. Floor name po. So ano po yung floor name? Basically, if you want to name your floor to whatever name you want. So for example, this is a roof level. This is the roof level. Okay. This is the first level. And this is the ground level. Parang ganyan po. Kaya po bahala kung gusto nyo second level. Kasi sa training material natin, the second floor is the first level. So kung gusto nyo pong gawin second level, pwede rin po. So kayo po ang bahala. The next part is the floor height. Okay? The floor height. So floor height is basically the slab to slab elevation or the slab to slab distance. So for example, meron tayong elevation sa ating architectural plan. For example, no? This is my building. Okay? This is my building. So this is ground floor. This is first floor, for example. This is second floor. Tapos this is roof deck. Kung saan po naka-align yung slab, yung top ng slab, ayun po yung reference natin. Okay? So for example, ang difference from slab to slab okay, is 4 meters. Let's say 4 meters. And this one right here as well is 4 meters. Yun po yung ilalagay natin sa floor height. Okay, malinaw po ba? Slab to slab po yan, no? It's a structural slab, no? Hindi pa kasama yung topping. Okay? Pero it's up to you on how you do the reference, no? Pero for this basic training, doon po tayo, stick po tayo dun sa slab top, no? As our reference level. Okay, so for example, 4 meters to, no? 4 meters and then 4 meters. What I will do is this. I will just edit the level to 4 meters. Alright? So ganyan lang po yung floor height. Slab top to slab top po yan. I will edit as well the other floors, no? So sa foundation, siguro gawin ko na lang po 1.5 meters para hindi ganong malalim yung hukay. Sa roof level, siguro gawin ko na lang 1 metro kasi hindi naman ganong kataas yung bubong natin. Okay? So ayan po yung mga values na gagamitin natin at kokopyahin nyo po mamaya. So I'll give you time to copy. The 5th column is the bottom elevation. Okay? Bottom elevation is basically the, kumbaga, successive addition of your floor heights. So, si software na po yung bahalang mag-specify. Okay? For example, ang bottom elevation nyo sa ground floor is 15 meters from a certain, from the road. No? Automatic po, si software na yung mag-add. So, 15 plus 4 equals 19. 19 plus 4 equals 23. So, parang ganyan po, no? So, if you want to incorporate the bottom elevations in your model, si software na po yung bahala. You just have to specify the elevation of your reference floor. Specify nyo lang po yung elevation ng reference floor based on any kind of reference point. Maybe sa road, maybe sa isang kilometer post, kayo po bahala. So for our example, zero ko lang po muna para hindi tayo magkalituhan. No? Zero ko lang ito. And lastly, the number of typical floors. No? The number of typical floors. If you have multiple floors, kung meron kayong sabihin nating high-rise building, residential, and yung from 2nd floor to 10th floor, pare-pares lang yung height. No? Pwede nyo na lang gawing multiplier. Gagawin ko lang multiplier. Let's say 9 multiplier. So ang gagawin po ni software is this. I-model nyo lang yung 2nd floor. Isang floor lang po. I-duplicate ni software to the next 8 floors. So ganun po mag-function yung number of typical floors. So automatic po siyang mag-model parehas na parehas. You don't have to remodel or to copy the one you modeled before. Okay? So ito po yung function ng number of typical floors. So I will just use one for this example. Okay? And lastly, yung remarks, these are just open cells. You want to put something here, kaya na po ang bahala. So ulitin ko lang po, no? Ulitin ko lang. Zoning, if you want to divide your structure into different zones. The floor information, you can press the insert and delete to introduce or delete an existing floor. Reference floor is your base floor. Code, no? Yung code po natin is your the count of floor, no? Or the counting of floors. Floor name is just the floor name. The floor height is from slab to slab. Slab of your current floor up to the slab of the next floor. Bottom elevation is yung software na po yung bahala depending dun sa floor heights. And number of typical floors, ito po yung multiplier kung meron po tayong typical floors in our structure. All right? So that's it po for the first 2 layers. If you have questions, you can chat me in our chat box. But for now, I will give you time to copy the values here po. So copy muna natin before we proceed to the last layer, the grade settings. All right? Maraming salamat po. I'll just check the chat box for questions. Sir, paano pag elevated yung 200 mm? Ng 200 mm yung ground floor finish line? Pwede po natin i-edit yung mga elevations later on. So ang function lang ng floor settings is this, no? We just want to have a preliminary value. So for example, meron tayong iba-ibang elevation sa existing floor. Gagawa lang po tayo ng reference level or reference elevation here. Okay? Tapos po, sa model na tayo mag-adjust mamaya. para po mas smooth, no, or mas madali yung effort natin. Ayun lang po. Okay? So renaming the floors here. You can just double click and rename the floors. So I'll just wait for you guys, no, kung may questions pa po kayo, and then you can just type thumbs up sa ating chat box for me to proceed. Maraming salamat po. Also, kindly notify me, no? Medyo minsan nagra-rap po ako, mabilis ako magsalita, no? So if you think that the discussion is too fast, kindly notify me so that I can slow things down, no? Para po mas maintindihan natin. Alright? So maraming salamat po. Sa zoning po, I'm sorry, hindi po natin ma-undo yung pag-delete ng zones. Okay? Hindi po natin ma-undo yung pag-delete. We might need to redo that process again. Okay, so kung wala na pong questions and okay, may question bang isa? How to move entities from one zone to another zone? I'll discuss it later on po. So pag nagmo-model na tayo. Nag-automatic save po ba? Yan. Yes, actually hindi po siya automatic save, no? It's automatic save prompt, no? Ipa-prompt kayo ni software na i-save siya. So papakita ko po sa inyo mamaya or sabay-sabay po tayo mag-save mamaya, no, ng ating file para kahit pa paano hindi natin ma-accidentally delete. Okay? And also yung training natin, of course the learning, no, the learning curve of each participants here differ, no. May iba po masyadong mabilis mag-pick up, no, mabilis pick up, yung iba po medyo nangangapa pa, no. It's completely fine. So kung may na-miss po kayo na commands or modeling procedure, ang usually ginagawa ko po is sinishare ko yung file para sa next topic makasunod po kayo. Okay? So also my apologies, I cannot entertain all the questions po kasi kung mag-open forum tayo, lahat ng questions isagutin natin based on dun sa minodel natin, baka hindi po tayo mabot sa time. Okay? So yun lang po, no? Just a short reminder. So, let's proceed to the last part of our floor settings. Okay? Yung last part po ng floor settings natin is the grade settings. Okay? Grade settings po. So ito pong pangatlo, the layer 3. So grade settings, again, in every floor on layer 2, we have a certain grade settings. Pakita ko po sa inyo, no? If I select roof deck or any cells in the roof deck or roof level, nagbabago po yung current floor dito. If I select first level, nagbabago po siya. It means that we need to manually select each and every floor and then edit the grade or the concrete parameters. Question. How do we edit the concrete parameters? That's the and kailangan bang i-edit ko per floor isa-isa? Okay? Kailangan po ba i-edit ko per floor isa-isa? So, the answer is no. But for now, pakita ko muna yung basic steps or basic procedure. The first one is to, of course, select the floor you want to edit. Let's say foundation floor. The second one is this, no? You will try to edit or you will try to familiarize first about the elements and sub-elements related to that. Okay? If you remember the term element, I said it before, elements are components of the structure. BIM is an element. column is an element, slab is an element. Okay? So sa element type po, nandito na po yung mga components ng structure. We have the foundation elements, the blinding elements, the walls, the beams, the columns, etc. So in our floor settings, initially lang po, ini-edit natin yung concrete information nila per batch or per group. Okay? So ibig sabihin, lahat ng foundation elements magkakaroon siya ng 3,000 PSI. Okay? But that doesn't mean na hindi na natin mababago per specific model or per specific entity, no? Or a specific type of foundation. What we just want to do is again to give the software basic, no, preliminary values para kahit papaano may i-assume na siya at first. And ang ginagawa po natin dito is we put the values that are governing, yung pinakamarami po at that type of element. Now, yung element po, if you want to know the subcategories under this element, just go to the remarks on the right side. So the software said that the foundation element includes the ground beam, the raft foundation, the strip, the pad, the pile, okay, the pier, the sump, the ditch, etc. So kapag nag-set tayo ng concrete information, lahat yan magkakaparehas 3,000 PSI, which we can edit later on. Okay, sample. Slabs. Slabs include spiral slab, drop panel, composite slab. Okay? So, paano naman po mag-edit ng concrete grade, no? Simple, select the cell, press the drop down, and check or select the value you want. Let's say, for example, yung foundation ko, 2,500 PSI. Okay? 2,500 PSI. So, automatic po, lahat ng foundation elements and its sub-elements will have a default value of 2,500 PSI. Ano naman po yung concrete category, no? Again, just select the cell and edit the concrete category. So we have 4 basic categories here: common concrete, lightweight concrete, self-compacting, and waterproofing or waterproof concrete. So you just have to select the specific concrete category here. Same goes with formworks type. Just select the type of formworks, no? Let's say timber formworks, and that's it. Okay, you already edit the grade settings, and you just have to do it on all the elements. Okay, all the elements and on all the floors po. Okay, so third question, no? Design software po ba ito? Kasi bakit meron tayong concrete grade, meron tayong even steel ratio, no? Meron ba tayong type of concrete? Actually, all the grade settings or concrete parameters here, it doesn't directly affect the values. What this does is we are allowed to classify the values later on. Para mamaya kapag nag-classify tayo ng concrete, okay, lahat ng 2,500 PSI, ito yung quantity. Okay? Lahat ng self-compacting concrete, ito yung quantity. So, in a sense, no, in a way, mas madali natin makontrol yung values on how we sort things out. Okay? So kumbaga, for sorting purposes lang po itong mga to. Except for the steel ratio. So for the steel ratio, this is a way wherein we can project the values of the quantities later on in terms of rebar weight. So kung gusto nyo, tansyahin lang natin, no? Kapag yung foundation element ko is this, no? For example, ang foundation element ko is 100 cubic meter. So, ang gagawin ni software, i-multiply niya yung steel ratio sa 100 cubic meter, giving us a 5,000. Tama ba? 5,000 kilogram rebar weight. So, kumbaga, if you want to project the values and you know the steel ratio of your designers, you might need to input it here. But if you want to have a very detailed quantity takeoff, I suggest you use our TRB software or the takeoff for rebar. Okay, so ulitin ko lang. Kunyari, beam. Gawin ko po itong 3,000 PSI. Lightweight concrete. Tapos, large steel formworks. Okay, so nabago ko na po yung beam. So lahat ng beams along foundation level magkakaroon ng gantong property. Another thing, sir, meron akong 20 floors. No? 20 floors or sabihin natin 50 floors, sir. Isa-isahin ko po ba yan? Kasi ang rami nun, no? Baka one working day lang, binago ko na, yun lang yung nagawa ko, nagbago lang ako ng floor settings. You don't have to do it one by one, actually. No? So, hindi ko kailangan isa-isahin ito, isa-isahin, tapos i-edit yung values. What I can do if they are somehow typical, of course, kapag iba-iba sila, kailangan siyang isa-isahin. Pero kung typical sila, what we can do is this. Select the floor. No? Copy to other floor command. Okay? But wait, no? Meron lang ako ilalagay na mark, no? Okay, so lagyan natin ng asterisk. Baka lumabas sa quiz, no? How do we copy properties, concrete properties from one floor to the other? This is copy to other floor command. Okay, copy to other floor command. So ganito po yung procedure again. Select the floor na inedit nyo, copy to other floor, and then select the target floor. Saan nyo po ika-copy? No? Let's say on all floors, ika-copy ko and press OK. If you check the other floors, pare-pares na sila ng properties. Okay? Pare-pares na sila ng properties, no? If you scan. Ulitin ko lang po ulit, no? Gagawin ko, i-default ko na lang. Restore default. Okay? Default values. Ika-copy ko yung default values sa iba. Again, select the floor, copy to other floor, target floors, all the floors, and press OK. And if you check, lahat ng floors na-restore ulit sa default. Okay, so this is our topic, no? This is our this is what I want to discuss sa ating grade settings. For our example, I don't require you to change the values, no? I am not specific about the settings in our training procedure kasi po gusto ko lang maintindihan niyo yung process kung paano gamitin yung software. Okay, so it's up to you if you want to edit or not. But I suggest you try to practice or try to use the copy to other floor before we proceed to the next workflow po. Okay, so that's it po for the grade settings. If you have questions, feel free to chat me in our chat box. And if you want me to proceed, to proceed with the second workflow, which is the drawing management, kindly type thumbs up in our chat box so that I can proceed. Okay, maraming salamat po. Sir, yung concrete grade ba usually nandiyan usually ginagamit sa residential? Not necessary po, no? Not necessary, naka-default lang po siya. Of course, you need to use what the designers tell you. So check niyo na lang po si general notes. Masyado pong malalaki yung mga values, I think, for the residential. BIM for 5 PSI, medyo malaki ata, no? Kung 2-story. Baka 3,000 PSI lang yan if needed. Okay, so paano po mag-add ng concrete gate? Okay, Sir Alvin, that's the limitation of the software, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Kung ano lang po yung nasa concrete grade dito, yun lang po yung pwede nating gamitin. So from 1,500 to 12,000. So kung may more than 12,000 baka po i-assume na lang natin siya as 12,000 tapos i-take note na lang natin afterwards. Also, the concrete grade is always in PSI kahit naka-metric tayo. So usually ito kasi yung batayan ng mga suppliers in PSI, not in MPA. Alright, so I think we can proceed. Pwede na po tayo mag-proceed, no? So the next step, no? So tapos na po tayo sa project settings. I already specified the basic informations, the name of the structure, the properties of the structure, the floor height, and the concrete parameters. We will proceed to the drawing management, step 2. Okay, so of course, bago tayo mag-drawing, kailangan may matitrace tayo. Drawing management. Okay, so punta lang po ako sa training arrangement natin. And according to our training arrangement, we will create first a grid axis. Okay, a grid axis. So explain ko po later kung ano po ibig sabihin or kung bakit po kailangan ng grid axis. Now, in our software, no, just go to start first. Start muna tayo. And then let's save first our work, no? Save muna natin para po maayos yung mga files natin. This is very important in saving, no? Very important in saving. Before you press save, okay? Before you press save, create a new folder first. Okay, don't just save. Automatic pindutin niyo yung save, no? Create a new folder first. Ang type nyo, it's up to you, no? So let's say this is training. Create a folder first. Why? If the software saves, no, a certain master file, tatlong file po yung lumalabas usually. That is one task file. Hindi lang po that task file yung lalabas. Tatlong file po lalabas dyan. May isang folder, tapos may isang int file. Okay? So ano po yung mga yun? Kapag po nawala yung file path, no? Or ibig sabihin, nagkahiwa-hiwala yung tatlong file na yun or yung dalawang file na yun, kung dalawa man siya, mawawala po yung link ng mga drawings sa ating master file. So kapag nag-link tayo mamaya, baka mawala yung link kapag na-relocate siya and nagkahiwa-hiwalay po yung mga files na yun. So it's better, it's advisable to create a folder first containing your master file para wala po tayong problema mamaya. Okay? So I'll just press save, no? Press lang natin yung save. O yun po. Na-save ko na siya sa isang specific folder. And I suggest you do the same. Just do the same na create a folder and then save it. Save your master file inside that folder alone. The autosave prompt, sabihin ko lang rin po, can be found on the options. So akin, every 60 minutes, nagtatanong si software na mag-save. Somewhere here, no? Every 60 minutes. So kung gusto nyo po, every 30 minutes, every 15 minutes, basta naka-tick yung autosave prompt kasi po, palagi nagkakaroon ng problem sa clients namin. Medyo nadidistract kasi sila sa autosave prompt, ina-uncheck nila. Now, kung nakalimutan nila mag-save, no? Nakalimutan nila mag-save, mayayari tayo. Wala tayong ma-access, no? Kasi yung backup files natin, it depends on kumbaga yung pinaka-dalas, no? Kung gaano kadalas tayo mag-control S. Kasi kapag nagba-backup po kasi sa software, every time mag-save tayo, sinesave niya sa dalawang location. Okay, so kumbaga naka-rely po rin po siya dun sa method ng pag-save natin. So always check your autosave prompt. Kahit medyo nakakairita minsan, check this para kahit paano hindi natin makalimutan mag-save. Okay, so yun lang po, no? Kindly save your work first and then mag-proceed na po tayo sa drawing management.
Hindi ka na mag-appointment. Magkama ka ng data. Hindi na salita. Naipin ka kami din ng success. Para sa yung naka-appointment ka. Salita sa mga agahan nila. Hindi ay anak mo.
Now, okay, mute daw natin yung others. Meron bang maingay? Guys, kindly be sensitive dun po sa ating sa ating mic, no? Baka po nakabukas. Kindly turn it off every time you open, you re-enter the Zoom meeting. Now, let's proceed to the drawing management. Okay, so mag-upload na po tayo ng drawing. But before we upload the drawing, there's one step that we need to do. Okay, meron po tayo isang step na gagawin. We will create what we call an axis. Okay, based po dun sa training material natin or training arrangement, let's do the axis first. So ano po yung axis? No? What's this axis? Axis is just the grid axis. So, ito po yung drawing file natin. I will show you. Meron po tayong mga grid axis dyan. Okay? May mga grid axis tayo dyan. Now, we want to model this grid axis into the software. Bakit po natin kailangan i-model yung grid axis sa software? Kasi po, ang mangyayari po kasi is we will try to establish a reference location or a reference point from our drawing space. Okay? So kailangan po natin mag-establish ng reference point along the X and Y coordinate para po ma-align yung mga drawings natin. And the reference point or the reference location is represented by grid axis. Okay? So to do the grid axis, ganito lang po, no? You can go or press the identify just to go back to the main user interface. Okay? And then, go to the element navigation bar. Element navigation bar. Again, anything that is a component of the structure and of the drawing, mahanap sa element navigation bar. Since the grid axis is part of our drawing, okay, kasama siya dun sa drawing, no? Sa drawing natin, we can model this in our software. So the grid axis can be found here. Okay? The next step, no? The next step is this. Next step natin is we will press this button right here. We will create a new grid axis. Okay? Press, and then I will select create an orthogonal grid axis. It means that I will create a grid axis that is orthogonal. Okay? So left click and may lalabas po na window. This is where we will edit our grid axis. Alright, so ulitin ko lang po, no? Ulitin ko lang. Axis grid plus orthogonal grid axis. And a defined window will appear. Now, I will try to model first, no, the parts of the grid axis. Tapos po sumunod na lang kayo mamaya para kahit paano maintindihan niyo po muna. So, you will notice here that we have these parts of the grid axis. We have the bottom, the left, the top, and the right. Okay? Apat po na sides ng grid axis natin. So kung i-visualize ko po, ganito po yan. No? If this is my grid axis here, okay? Of course, this is the bottom. This is the top. This is the right. And this is the left. So kung nasaan po sa side na yan yung mga measurements, doon lang po yung lalagyan natin ng values. Okay? So kung titingin po ako, no, titingin po ako doon sa drawing natin, saan po yung merong mga measurements? On the left and on the top. Okay? On the left and on the top. So what I will do is this. I will only input values or distances between grid lines on the left and on the top. So I'll just go back to the software and please take note, no? Pupunta muna tayo sa left. Okay? Baka po nasa bottom tayo, go to the left first. Now, after we define or after we press the left side of our grid axis, we will now define the names of the axis or the names of the grid lines. And how the software or how the architect names it from numerical values po, no? From 1 to 9. Okay? From 1 to 9. Pag nag-name po tayo ng grid axis, this is very important. You have to start from the bottom papunta sa taas, no? In our software, we are maintaining yung idea ng parang vector quantity, wherein everything is the direction of every element is considered positive pag mula manggagaling sa ilalim papunta sa taas. And if you are going from left to right, that's considered positive or correct as well. So lahat po ng modeling procedures natin, even the signs, no? Kapag manggagaling sa baba pataas, it will be positive. Pag manggagaling sa taas pababa, it will be negative. And same goes along the x coordinate. Left to right, positive. Right to left, negative. Okay? So since the correct pattern, no, the usual pattern is from bottom pataas, so mag-start po ako ng pag-name ng grid axis sa ilalim papunta sa taas. Okay? From the bottom going up. So the first thing I will do is I will fill up the value here on the axis number. I will just type 1. Okay? And then press enter. After I do that, just press add multiple times until you reach number 9. Okay? Hanggang number 9 po. Okay? The number 9 is the grid axis that will close, no? Or that will close yung mga grid lines natin on our left part. So if I go here in our CAD file, from 1, ang end niyan is 9. Okay? Now, all I have to do is input the values. Input ko na lang po yung mga values or distances within each grids. Okay? So, itatype ko lang po, no? Itatype ko lang po muna. So, from 1 to 2 is 450. Sorry. 450. And then 4550. And then 4,000. Okay? And then 1,8. And then 2,5. And then 4,5, 2,5, and 3,950. So 4,5, 2,5, and 3,950. Okay, so ang ginawa ko lang po is tinype ko lang po yung distances within each grids. And you don't have to type value on the last grid, yung grid 9, kasi closing grid po ito. Alright, so yun lang po muna yung gagawin ko. You don't have to open a separate CAD software. Ang gagawin nyo na lang po is to copy what I type right now. So just type here the values or the distances here at the left side of our grid line, remember po. Okay? And if you're done copying, no, kung tapos na po kayo mag-copy, kindly press or kindly type done or thumbs up sa ating chat box for me to proceed po. Okay? If you have questions, please feel free to chat me in our chat box po para po ma-address natin. Okay? Maraming salamat po. Paano po kapag diagonal axis based on plans? So kung diagonal axis, we have another element. If I go here, no, sa plus, meron po tayong diagonal axis. So naka-diagonal po with a certain angle yung i-input natin. Okay, so we have all the options, no, diagonal or arc, pwede rin po dito. But for our example, siguro mag-base muna tayo sa orthogonal. Pwede pong PDF file, pwede rin pong CAD file mamaya, ipapakita ko po sa inyo. Now, let's proceed to the next part of our grid line. Okay, so I assume na-copy nyo na po yung left, no? I will proceed to the top. Okay? If I define the top, mapapansin nyo po, magkakaroon ng drawing dito. Papansin niyo po, magkakaroon ng drawing here, no? In our in the window right here. So, ang pag-model naman po ng top is from left to right in letters, no? In letters naman po tayo. So, ganito lang po. Again, in the axis number, type A, and then just press add hanggang letter E. Okay? After that, we will insert A1 between A and B. So I will just press B and press insert. Insert. So that, oops, sorry for that. I will press A pala, no? I will press A and press insert. So that I can insert a grid line below A. So maglalagay po ako ng A1. Okay, ulitin ko lang po, no? Delete lang natin. Delete, delete, delete. A, add up to grid E, select A, and press insert. And then rename it to A1. And from there, we will type the distance. So type ko lang po yung distance from now. For now, it's 600, 3875, and then 1618 5000. 16, oops, sorry. 1618 and 5,000. Okay, so yun lang po. Yun lang po yung gagawin natin. Let's define the top. And if we already define the top, no, mapapansin niyo po meron ka ng grid line on the left and on the top. Make sure that the sum, no, on the left, no, is 24,250 and sa top is 12,875. Okay, and if everything is correct, no, kailangan correct, that's the time you will press OK. So magkakaroon na tayo ng grid axis mamaya. Okay, so for now, just copy first the top part before I press OK. So explain ko po anong mangyayari if I press OK po. Ano po indication ng level? Okay, this level right here, ano daw po itong level, no? This one. This level right here represents the layering of the measurements. So this is level 1 and this is level 2. So kung naka-level 1 po yung mga grid lines, ibig sabihin, in each grid distances, bibigyan po ni software yung sukat. Kung may certain level po, may certain grid lines na naka-level 2, kukunin lang ni software yung distance ng mga naka-level 2. That's why we have a value of 12,875. Okay? So for example, bigyan ko yung example. Gagawin kong level 2 to. Nakita nyo po? Level 1 ko is this one. Every grid line, meron pong distances or may measurements. Ang level 2 ko is from A1 and B lang. So ang ginawa ni software, kinonect niya A1 sa B, yun lang yung level 2 ko. And the rest, kung ano po yung natira. And lastly, yung level 3 po, palagi siya yung last level and yung distance from the first and the last grid line po. Okay? So yun lang po yung explanation ng levels. You don't have to edit the levels. Okay lang po sa akin kahit 2 levels lang tayo. So for now, kindly copy first the values po before we proceed to the importation of drawings. Alright, so if you're done, kung tapos na po kayo, just press OK. Press OK. And after you press OK, mapapansin niyo po, no? Uy, meron ng grid line sa aking drawing area. So yan na po yung grid line na magiging reference natin mamaya. Okay? And the reference line or the reference grid line is always like this, no? It's always like this. Yung first point, no? Yung grid 1, grid A is always at the 0, 0 palagi yan. Okay? Even if you point your cursor, no, on that area. Point ko po yung cursor on that area. Tapos po, tingin kayo dito sa ilalim. Dito po sa ilalim, no? If I point my cursor here, approximately 0, 0 po yan. Okay? So yan po yung magiging reference natin palagi. Kahit hiwa-hiwala yung drawings natin, mamaya ilo-locate natin sila on our reference line or reference grid line po. Bakit po hindi lumalabas yung value sa nung akin? Puro lines lang po. Okay, I'm not sure. Can you provide a picture lang po, no? Picture lang po regarding that. You should have a value. That magpakita po yung value dito once you press OK. Alright, so how about the others po? Nagpakita naman po ba yung grid lines natin? Okay. So, now, what we will do is we will upload the drawings. So this time we will upload the drawings kasi na-secure na natin yung reference line natin. So ang gagawin natin, mag-upload po tayong drawings. Tapos po i-scale natin sila if needed. Tapos po i-split natin sila so that we can separate per floor. And then we will align it into our reference line. Okay, or reference grid axis. So the first thing to do, no, by in the 5-step drawing management is this. Under the drawing manager, we have 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 steps po yan. Okay? Gagawin lang natin sila isa-isa. Very easy. The first step is this. Press add drawing. Add drawing. And then just find the drawing that we provide to you. Okay? Training materials po ang pangalan niya. So hanapin natin. Sa training materials, meron pong folder called Basic Training Drawing 2019. Okay, Basic Training Drawing 2019. You just have to upload this, open it, and then may upload lang po tayong dalawang file. Okay, dalawang file po. The first file is the structural layout plan. The second file is the architectural for basic training. Okay, these 2 files right here. If you want to do multiple selection, ganito lang po yung gagawin nyo, no? Select the first file, then hold your control button. Control button po. And then select the second file para po mag-multiple select tayo. Okay? Ulitin ko lang po. Select the first file, hold your control button, and then select the second file. And then, after that, just press open. Okay? Just press open. So magpapakita po yung drawing materials natin. Okay? So ulitin ko lang po, no? Drawing Manager, Basic Training Drawing 2019, and then upload the first 2 files. So that is our first step. Napakadali. Just add a file. So I'll just wait for you guys to upload the file before we proceed to the second step. So after you uploaded your file, kung na-upload nyo na po yung file nyo, our second step is very simple as well. So simple lang po yung gagawin natin for our second step. No? we will delete the unnecessary files. No? Ano po ibig sabihin ng unnecessary files? Kung natatandaan niyo po, no, ilan po yung in-upload kong file? Dalawa lang po. No? Dalawa lang. Ilan po yung lumabas sa drawing manager ko? 8. 8 file yung lumabas sa drawing manager ko. What's happening? No? May na-misclick ba ako? Ang nangyayari po ay ganito. Every time you upload a CAD file, no? CAD file po yung pag-upload natin. What will happen is the software will upload all the pages, all the sheets inside those CAD file. So kung may model sheet kayo, meron kayong layout sheet, mag-upload po yan sa Drawing Manager. Okay? Ang gusto lang natin gawin is this. We just want to clean the Drawing Manager or to delete the files that we don't want. Kasi if I check, no, i-check lang natin, visual check. Double click on your first page. Okay? Ano po itsura? Ito po itsura niyan. Okay? You can hold your middle button to pan, not to pan, and zoom in and zoom out using your scroll button. Okay? So hold your middle button or your scroll button to pan, zoom in and zoom out, just scroll lang po. So if I check, yung first page ko, ito yung itsura niya. No? If I double click the second page, parang parehas lang, no? Parang parehas lang. If I double click the third page, parang parehas lang rin po, naka-title block lang siya. If I double click the other pages, no, yung naka-Chinese characters po, parang parehas lang siya. So, my point here is, usually, yung mga CAD operators, yung mga architects natin, they use the other pages for layering, for layout purposes only. But to be specific, yung mga laman ng mga layers sa model, pare-pares lang minsan, naka-viewport lang po sila, no? So ang gagawin natin, I will delete the excess, the unnecessary, or the duplicate drawings po. Okay? Since yung model po is just a duplicate drawing, the layout is just a duplicate drawing, and basically, all the drawings here is just a duplicate drawing of your first page. What I will do is this. I will just select page 2 to page 5 by holding my control button and selecting them. I will even select page 7 and page 8 because these are duplicate pages as well. And I will press the delete button. I don't want these files. They are excess files. Excess files lang po yan. So press delete and press yes. Okay? So matitira na lang sa atin are the main pages. Page 1 and page 2. And advantage, hindi nakakalito kasi mas konti yung files. Na-delete natin yung mga excess. Another advantage is, mas magaan yung file natin. So kapag nag-save tayo mamaya, magaan na lang yung file natin. Okay? So I want you guys to delete the subpages, the excess file, before we proceed to the next step. Okay? So just chat if you have questions and thumbs up lang po kung na-delete na natin. Okay? Maraming salamat po. Ano po ulit yung ika-copy sa training materials? What do you mean ika-copy po? Wala po ata tayong kinopy. Ang in-upload lang po natin is yung 0A and 01A po. Yun po yung in-upload natin sa first step. Ito po yun, 0A and 01A po. Under the Basic Training Drawing 2019. Ito po. Okay, so kung na-delete na natin yung necessary files, ay mga unnecessary files, what's the third step? No? So refresh lang po tayo. No? First step is to add drawing. Second step is to delete unnecessary drawings. No? What's the third step? The third step is we will scale the drawing. Scale. Okay? Scale the drawing. So minsan po hindi naka-scale yung drawing, kailangan pa natin i-scale, no? Now, for this next step, hindi nyo na po kailangan i-scale. Naka-scale na po yung drawing natin para makasave tayo ng time. But for the purpose of recording, ituro ko na lang po sa inyo kung paano mag-scale. Para if ever gagamitin nyo yung software for other projects, what you can do is you can just watch the videos para po ma-refresh tayo on the scaling procedure. Okay? Again, you don't have to do this. So, ang ganito lang po sa scaling, no? The first thing to do is this. Press the scale button. Nandito lang po siya. Okay? And then, highlight the area you want to scale. Meron pong direction sa ilalim, no? May direction sa ilalim. Highlight the area you want to scale. For example, ito lang po yung gusto ko i-scale. Then, right-click to confirm. Okay? Right-click to confirm. So, please be reminded na yung right-click po sa software natin is a way wherein we can confirm to a certain procedure. Every time you press right-click, you are saying to the software that I'm done with the with the current procedure. Give me the next procedure. So I'll just press right-click to confirm. And then the next thing that we will do is we will specify a baseline. Okay, ano po ibig sabihin ng baseline? I will select a line that has a known distance. For example, from here to here, I will just left-click it. No? I'll just left-click it. And we can input the actual distance. Okay? So how this does is, or how this work is, if you specify 2 points, most probably po, yung distance nito naka-unscale. Baka po naka 200 lang to. It means that masyadong maliit yung drawing. What we will do is this. We will input the actual distance based on the grid measurement. It is 4475. Now, ang gagawin po ni software is this, no? Yung line mo na 200 lang, for example, babatakin niya po. Gagawin niyang 4475. And then lahat po ng lines along X and Y direction, susunod na po yan. So, ganun po kami mag-scale. Okay? Ganun po mag-scale. I'll just press OK here. And naka-scale na po yung ating model. Okay? Ulitin ko lang po, no? Ulitin ko lang. For example, i-unscale ko na lang para mas maganda tingnan. Maliit talaga siya. Sabihin natin 2,000. Okay? Ayan. Masyadong maliit, no? What I will do is this. I will highlight the area. Okay, sorry. Scale button po muna. Highlight the area. Right-click to confirm. Select a line with known distance. Maybe this and this. Input the actual distance. This shouldn't be 2,000. This should be 4475. And the software will stretch the drawing along X and Y direction, scaling the whole framing plan. Okay, so yun po yung method of scaling natin. Now, you don't have to do this. I'll just proceed to the next step kasi po nakascale na yung drawing natin. So the next step is to split the drawing. Okay, to split the drawing. As you notice, our structural plans, our architectural plans, okay, they are all in one page. Okay, kunyari yung framing plan natin, ground floor, next floors, isang page lang siya. Okay, even sa architectural plans, no, ground floor, next floors, nasa isang page lang siya. Now, in the TS software, we don't necessarily use all the framing plans or all the floor plans in one instance, no? Hindi po natin gagamitin lahat ito ng sabay-sabay. Actually, we can only model one floor per instance. Isang floor lang po ang pwede natin i-model kada instance. Okay? How do I know that? How do I know that? If I go to this window right here, meron po tayong floors that wherein we can switch, no? We can switch to ground floor, we can switch to first floor, we can switch to roof deck. It means that if I switch to ground floor lang talaga ang pwede ko i-model. Okay? It can be architectural, it can be structural, but only ground floor. But since we have a lot of plans here, ang gagawin ko po, i-split ko siya or i-isolate ko po yung bawat plano na ito para po ma-associate ko siya per floor later on. Okay, so that's why we use the split command. So to do the split command, very easy. Napakadali lang po. Press this button, split, highlight the area you want to split, right-click to confirm, and then just input the name of this framing plan. Okay, type nyo lang po. Or hindi kaya, kung mas madali, select the name from the drawing. Just press it. Press. Mare-register na po dito. And then press OK. So anong nangyari po is this, no? Yung main page natin, nagkaroon siya ng byproduct, no? Nagkaroon siya ng subpage, which is ground floor only. So, na-split na natin siya. So wala na tayong nakikita ang ibang plano kung hindi ground floor lang po. Okay, that is the purpose of splitting. Again, let me just repeat the process maybe twice, no? 2 more times para po malinaw. Go to the main page. Use this button, split drawing. Highlight the area you want to split. Highlight the area you want to split. So it's advisable to split per framing level. Release your left button. Right-click to confirm. Remember, right-click is the confirmation button to proceed to the next step. Right-click. And then just select the drawing name. Select the drawing name. Left-click. And press OK. Na-register na po dito. Ulitin ko lang po ulit, no? Split command. Highlight the area you want to split. Doesn't matter kung mag-overlap po, no? Release your left button, right-click to confirm, and left-click on the drawing name, and press OK. So, nangyari po is nagkaroon tayo ng mga subpages na isolated lang siya. Isolated, isolated, isolated. Okay? So, wala nang ibang floors, no? Sa drawing area natin. So for our example, for our training, I just want you guys to do, what I want you guys to do is to split the architectural and the structural framing plan po. So i-split nyo rin yung architectural po. You don't have to split the elevations, only the floor plans po, yung first 3 pages lang po. Alright, so I will just wait for you guys. Ako mag-split po muna ako dito, and then if you're done, just press or type yung thumbs up po natin. Okay, thumbs up lang po tayo. Before I proceed to the last step before we take our lunch. So on time naman po tayo ngayon. Alright, so if you have questions as well, you can raise it in our chat box para po malinawan. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po. May ask po, malinaw po ba yung steps natin, yung pag-split? I just want to check you guys kung nakakasunod po tayo. Okay, so clear naman po. Don't worry sa mga hindi po nakasunod, no? I will provide the training the file later on para sa afternoon po makasunod pa rin kayo. Okay? So don't worry po. Now, let's proceed to the last part. Pinakahuling part po for our last 8 minutes of this morning. We will try to relocate. So ano po yung relocate, no? Ano po yung relocate? Relocate is just a way wherein we can align all the drawings to our grid axis. So natatandaan niyo po, gumawa po tayo ng grid axis. Ang gagawin natin dito is, since yung mga drawings natin, the splitted drawings, wait lang po ah. Okay. Sir, I will try to repeat it later on sa lunch po if that's okay. Para lang po on time tayo, no? Matapos natin yung lessons natin. So I'll try to repeat it later on po. So for the splitting of plans, for the relocating of plans, ganito lang po yung mangyayari, no? We will try to relocate or to align our plans to our grid axis. So the reason is, we want to align every floor para po isang buo yung structure, sunod-sunod, no? Kasi po kapag hindi natin inalign, watak-watak sila, no? They are scattered everywhere. Okay? So the procedure is this. You will go to the files you split, no? You split nyo po na file and you will press the last button, relocate. Okay? After you press relocate, you will just select one point from the drawing, no? From the drawing, not from the grid line. One point from the drawing, let's say here, and then you will drag it papunta po sa ating grid axis. So ayan, naka-align na po siya, and for later on, ready to draw na po tayo. Okay? Ready to draw na tayo. Again, I will go to the roof plan I split before. Press the relocate button. Press the relocate button and then select a point, no? Usually yung mga intersections, yung grid lines, kasi pwede po natin siyang snap on the same location from our grid axis. For example, from here, left click, and then drag. Drag lang po. Papunta dun sa ating grid axis. Page 4. Ulit. Relocate. Snap from the drawing. Let's say from here, papunta po dun sa ating grid axis. And you just have to do that to all the split plans, no? Before, no? In na-split po natin na plans. Relocate. Select from the drawing. Papunta po sa ating grid axis. Again, relocate. Select a snapping from the drawing. Relocate to your grid axis. Kailangan pantay po, no? Para talagang align yung structure natin on each floors. So basically, that is how we do the drawing management. I think there's, for you, no, sa umpisa pa lang iniisip nyo na there's a lot, no? There's a lot to consider. There are 5 steps, tas may grid axis pa. How does this make the QS or the quantity takeoff faster? Actually, after po nito, no, in drawing management, yung modeling, napakadali na lang po. I will show you how fast the modeling is later on. Because our goal for this drawing management is to secure the plans, to make sure that all the plans are properly uploaded, properly aligned, and properly scaled para po walang mali sa mga quantities natin. Okay, this is the standard procedure. Okay, so relocate is the last part. So bibigyan ko lang po kayo ng another few minutes, no? Few minutes pa po para po gawin yung relocation ng mga splitted plans, and then we will summarize everything that we did this morning. Okay? So yun lang po. While waiting for you guys to while you are doing the relocating, ituro ko lang po ulit, no, paano daw mag-upload ng file. So pupunta po tayo sa Drawing Manager dito po. And then po, pupunta tayo sa training material na sinend po namin. Okay? This is located under the Basic Training Drawing 2019. And then i-upload nyo lang po yung Revised Structural and Revised Architectural. So i-hold nyo lang po yung control button to select multiple files. Ayan. After that, just press open. So ma-upload na po yung files natin in our Drawing Manager. Okay. So I hope that helps po, no? And don't worry sa mga hindi po nakasunod. Again, I will save and provide you the materials or the drawing files later on para po makasunod kayo sa modeling. Now, ulitin ko lang po yung procedure, no? Procedure natin, 5 steps. Add the drawing. Delete unnecessary drawing. Scale. Split. And relocate. Okay? Now, I will give you the magic asterisk, no? Meron na po kayong 3 points sa exam. Dagdagan pa po natin ng isa. Just know how to do the drawing management and you will answer 1 point already. Okay? What's the next step after you delete once the drawing is scaled already? Okay, the next step is split. No? The next step is split. So binigay ko na po yung sagot, no? So just follow the step-by-step procedure and you will answer 1 point in our quiz. Okay? So yun lang po, no? For our last 2 minutes before we take our lunch, siguro i-save ko na lang po yung aking work and I will upload it here in our chat box. And also, I will entertain other questions if needed. So baka po may questions pa kayo, I will answer it in our right now before we take our lunch break po. So yun lang po. Maraming salamat po. Again, I appreciate you sticking with me, the 101 participants. Baka po yung iba na busy na. But I assure you na kung magstay po kayo up to the second day, tutulungan ko po kayo sa exam. Okay? And madali lang yung assignment. Sayang rin kasi yung certificate. Okay? Maraming salamat po. No? I'll just upload the files. Compress ko lang, no? Compress. And then I will upload it here. Now, I already uploaded my training file. Just double-click that once you downloaded it. Tapos, kompleto na po, no? Yung ating, kompleto na yung drawing management. Ready na po kayo for modeling later on. Okay? So, uploading lang po now. Paano po i-edit yung grid size, yung font size ng grid? Okay? That's a good question and most of the participants are asking for this. No? For now po, hindi natin ma-edit yung grid size, unfortunately. We will be releasing a new software version within the end of the year to allow the users to edit the grid lines po. For now po, ganyan lang talaga siya. No? Minsan nag-overlap kasi po, standard yung size. Even you zoom in and zoom out, standard po yung size niya. Okay, so siguro tiisin lang po muna natin ngayon. We're done with the drawing management. So any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Na wag po mahiya before I conclude our morning session. Pwede po ba mag-import nung SketchUp? Hindi po pwede, I'm sorry. Only CAD files, image, and DWG files po. Yung process ng CAD file is still the same, no? I'm sorry, nung PDF, no? I'll just show you para po alam rin natin, no? You just have to go to the add drawing. Tapos pares lang rin po, hanapin nyo lang yung PDF. Okay? Upload nyo lang po yung PDF. And then, do the same procedure, no? Ito po yung PDF natin. Do the same procedure. You can scale the drawing. Parehas sa procedure po, no? Scale the drawing. Then afterwards, you will split the drawing. Split lang natin yung drawings. Okay. Split the drawing. The ground floor. And then lastly, you will relocate the drawing. Relocate the drawing. So the process is still the same. I just want to give you an idea na whatever type of drawing it is, no? Kung CAD file, DWG, or image, no? Yung scan file, pwede rin po natin gamitin. So right now, I just show you how to use PDF plans po. Alright? Nakasave na po ba yung ginawa nating file? Yes po, nag-save po ako kanina, no? By pressing this save button. Okay? If you press save, automatic po magsisave na yan dun sa kaninang file location na dinefine ninyo. Or you can even press Control S. Control S po yung save natin. So that's it po for our morning session. I'm sorry, nag-extend tayo 3 minutes. Siguro i-offset ko na lang po. We will be back at 1:03 p.m. Okay, 1:03 p.m. po. I will still stand by here for a few more minutes if you have follow-up questions. Pero kung wala na po kayong questions, you may take your lunch. Okay, have a great lunch po, no? And see you at 1:03 p.m. Maraming salamat po. Isasend po namin yung recording after this training pa po, no? We will still process the videos po. Baka po later 9 p.m. or tomorrow pa po. Tomorrow pa po na afternoon kasi medyo matagal po yung processing. Isasend po namin yung videos. I will give you the website where you can watch the videos. Meron na po kaming videos from our previous training, no? I will show you online training platform or siguro you can access this this website right here. Kung gusto niyo po matuto, no? Copy paste. Hindi ko pa po kasi ma-upload kasi ipa-process pa po, no? Ito na po yung website namin, online training platform. Meron na po kaming previous recordings sa bandang ilalim. Okay? Lahat po ng trainings ko nandito na po. Although we suggest na umattend pa rin kayo kasi po meron po baka po may new features, no? Iba po kasi yung software na gamit natin. So baka may new features na maturo po ako. Meron po dito And you just have to sign up. Okay, i-upload ko rin po dito yung training natin. And kung hindi niyo po ma-access, I will give you Google Drive as well po. Okay? Check natin yung iba. What if pag nagkamali ng pag-relocate? Pag nagkamali po ng relocate, wala po tayong undo button. So ang gagawin ko is this, no? I will select the relocate button, drag it out again. Okay? Tapos po i-relocate ulit pabalik. Para mas exact, no? Kunyari mas exact, i-zoom ko. Mas exact. Para po accurate. Kasi minsan kapag kunwari nag-relocate tayo tapos ganyan, no? Yung hindi ganong aligned, medyo mahirap po kasing matahin, no? Medyo mahirap i-adjust unless malinaw yung mata niya. Parang ganyan. Pero kung I suggest, ilayo nyo muna para makita nyo po talaga kung ano yung kung nasaan po yung snapping location nyo bago nyo po ulit ibalik. Okay, wala pong problema. So again, yun lang po, no? If you have further questions, kindly park it in our chat box. I will answer it po later on. Okay, see you guys at 1:03. Maraming salamat po and good afternoon.
Kalaunan sa BIM. Perlito, nagkano ba? Perlito? Power way, sir.